Time since the Kennedy name was associated with it's been a long time since the Kennedy name was associated with a long shot outsider presidential campaign, but those days could be making a comeback. On Friday, Robert Kennedy Jr., speaking at St. Anselm College, was asked if he's considering a run for the White House in 2024.
I'm thinking about it. That's all I'm saying. I'm past the biggest hurdle, which is that my wife has green-lighted it.
In a one-on-one interview, Kennedy told us he would not be deterred if President Joe Biden seeks a second term, and that he'd run on progressive campaign issues.
On the rigging of the system, the war against America's middle class.
But one issue puts Kennedy out of step with the Democratic Party. For years, he's been a leader in the vaccine resistance movement.
And all of these injuries that I speak about to children, there is no bigger issue for our country than that.
What would you say to someone who is skeptical about you based on your vaccine activism, that they disagree with you? They might agree with you on everything else, but they disagree with how you've handled yourself there.
Show me where I got it wrong. Let's talk about it.
If he runs, RFK Jr. also must contend with a tragic family legacy, the assassinations of his uncle and his father, who was murdered on the presidential campaign trail in 1968.
Do you have to worry about your own safety if you do launch a campaign?
I'm not worried about my safety.
One question for Kennedy if he runs is whether his last name still holds the political power it once did.
The Kennedy name has gusto. There's no question about that. How far does it take him? That's a different story.
In Manchester, Adam Sexton, WMUR News 9.
The rigging of the system, the rigging of the system, the rigging of the system, the rigging of the system.
The rigging of the system. That's what we're going to get into here, Truth Seeker. And let me drop this. And let's talk about why he is going to announce officially his presidency on April 19th. As we know, that's a very important day in U.S. history. It's the day the Revolutionary War began. In recent history, it's the day of Waco. It's the day of the Oklahoma City bombing. Our northern neighbor, recently they had the mass shooting and got their gun rights taken away on April 19th. Last year, we were down in Oklahoma City educating about what's up with April 19th. And again, that's the day in history that Ignatius of Loyola became the first Jesuit superior general. And of course, the Kennedy family is very Jesuit educated, including RFK Jr. And I was just talking about how Jesuit the ritual was with him filing paperwork on April 5th. Let's look at how perfect this ritual is in light of his words, the rigging of the system. We're going to see how April 19th pays perfect tribute to the history of the assassination of not only his father, but also JFK, and it's truly undeniable. So, he is 69 years old right now. We'll get to why that's important. But the day that he's going to announce, April 19th, 23, is a date with lesser numerology of 46, like how JFK was killed at age 46. The nation's first Catholic president went in Gematria, Catholic equals 46. The same number we used to predict that Biden would become president in the election exactly 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, in light of the sacrifice of his son, Beau Biden, or Joe Jr. at age 46, synced up with the Pope. But it's also a date with a numerology of 66. And remember, his dad died on June 6th, 6-6, after being shot reportedly by Sirhan Sirhan. And notice how in Gematria, Robert Kennedy and Sirhan Sirhan are both 66 when you run it forwards. When you run it in reverse, Robert Kennedy's 69, like how RFK Jr., Robert Kennedy Jr. is 69 years old right now. And Sirhan Sirhan's also 78 in reverse, like the name Kennedy alone is 78, like how he filed the paperwork 78 days after his birthday. And he did that on April 5th, the 95th day of the year, when the Jesuits' original purpose was to counter the 95 Theses in the Protestant Reformation. But notice from his father's death anniversary, June 6th, to the day that he'll officially announce, not only does it have that 66 date numerology, it's 317 days after the anniversary of his father's assassination, which is the 66th prime number. And from JFK's assassination anniversary, November 22nd, to the announcement, April 19th, is a span of 149 days, which is the 35th prime number, and it's a reminder that JFK was number 35 and died at age 46, and Joe Biden, the second Catholic president, is number 46, elected 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, and inaugurated on the Pope's 35th day of his age. And with regards to the 149 days, keep in mind JFK was born on May 29th, the 149th day of the year, making him the perfect person to be, number 35. And if you're new here, again, Gematria, it's based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards. The name Kennedy, forwards is 78, and reverse it's 111. And when he filed the paperwork on April 5th, it was 78 days after his birthday, or 11 weeks and 1 day. Remember, the Dead Kennedys drummer died last year at age 63, like JFK assassinated in 63, and he died 111 days after his birthday. JFK Jr. charity, what is it? Children's Health Defense? What's it called? Is that what it's called? Children's Health Defense? I got to make sure I got the name right. I want to show you some of it. Children's Health Defense. That is it. Look at the gematria of his charity. 111. Again, the Dead Kennedy drummer last year, 111 days after his birthday. Again, everything about this family is ritual, and they get to play the good cops, you know? Just like a lot of people think Donald Trump, the Jesuit's the good cop. Some people think Joe Biden, the Jesuit's the good cop. Again, these people control all sides of all things because they control this nation. His remarks yesterday, by the way, his remarks about announcing that he'll officially announce April 19th, he made those remarks yesterday on 4/6. On 4/6, and he announced that from the Catholic College, St. Anselm College, which has the Gematria 54, like Ambassador Hotel, where his father was supposedly killed, like Jesuit Order, also like Dealey Plaza, where JFK was killed. And again, April 19th, the day in history that Ignatius of Loyola became the first superior general of the Jesuits. I want to come back to that with the assassination of JFK, but in case you missed my video, April 5th, and you're just catching this one, again, that date can be written 4/5 or 5/4, the day he filed the paperwork, going with Ambassador Hotel, going with Dealey Plaza, forwards and backwards, going with Jesuit Order. He was born in 54. It has been 54 years and months since his father's assassination. Again, he announced 78 days after his January 17th birthday, or 11 weeks and 1 day. Kennedy 78, 111, like Jesuit 78. His arch nemesis, Anthony Fauci, a Jesuit, went to Holy Cross. The pandemic declared 78 days after Fauci's birthday, going with Wuhan coronavirus equaling 78. And another Jesuit, Klaus Schwab, putting on the coronavirus pandemic simulation 1 month before the outbreak in Wuhan, China, on the same day the military World Games began in Wuhan, China, which are credited to the Jesuits in Rome. That's why the first iteration of the event was in Rome in 95, when the Jesuits were credited to count of the 95 Theses. The name Fauci equals 95. But again, RFK filed the paperwork on the 95th day of the year. And again, RFK went to Georgetown Prep, Jesuit educated. And again, the Superior General's birthday, Arturo Sosa, the leader of the Jesuits right now. Ignatius Loyola became the first Superior General on April 19th. The current Superior General, from his birthday to RFK filing the paperwork, was 144 days later. And again, JFK killed 144 days from meeting with the Pope. And they said RFK Jr. was pronounced dead at 1:44 a.m., 144, just like President Biden equals 144, and Jesuit Georgetown simulated that he would win the election on June 12th, 144 days before the election. But, you know, my mom watched this video that I put out the other day, and she said, oh, he's not a bad guy. It's probably just a coincidence. You know, my mom also thought it was a coincidence back in 2013 when I showed her, you know, that Robert Kennedy and Sirhan equaled 66 and he died on 6/6. My mom likes the Kennedys a lot, as a lot of Americans do. And that's just cognitive dissonance, right? You see the evidence and you just dismiss it because you're like, I'd rather believe in this. I got to believe in that family. I like Robert Kennedy's books. I like the real Anthony Fauci. I like Crimes Against Nature. He's been saying all the right things. If we don't have him to believe in, what can we believe in? And that right there is what it is. They know that, so they have to give you the good characters to provide hope for the hopeless. Those people are Donald Trump for some people. Those people are Bernie Sanders for others. RFK Jr. But at the end of the day, all these guys are in the club, and that's why they're all puppets on strings, doing every ritual perfectly, paying tribute to history, and it's his story that's always been controlled by this order. So, again, people got to stop with the hopium and recognize what it is. This nation's controlled by Rome. It's controlled by the Catholic Church. It's controlled by their military, the order the Jesuits. They got good guys. They got bad guys. They got people to play all parts. And it's how they keep you locked in the game and voting. And essentially, just stuck where you are, waiting for somebody to come save you like RFK Jr. He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. I'm not saying his book is bad. I'm not saying people shouldn't read his books because it's good information. But I'm saying this guy's not going to save you. And I've been pointing this out because I knew it. I knew it the day. I thought there was a chance it could have been a coincidence, but when he had that anti-mandate gathering, anti-jab gathering on Georgetown's birthday, I was like, how fitting. On Georgetown's birthday, where Anthony Fauci once predicted the pandemic from. Again, you guys, they're all in the club. And by the way, if you've never seen They Live, if you've never seen that movie, maybe take a minute this weekend to watch They Live. You'll see the enemy of the world is Cable 54 in the movie. It's a movie about where you get the glasses. When you get the glasses, then you can finally see things for what they are. Before, you're getting fooled by things. But now that you got the glasses on, now it's all adding up. And by the way, Roddy Piper, who's the star of They Live, he tweeted on the great Jesuit anniversary date of September 27th, the day they were recognized by Rome, that They Live is a documentary. And then he just happened to die prematurely on the anniversary of Ignatius Loyola's death. There's about 1 million other Jesuit fingerprints all over that film. Roddy Piper himself's born in 54. Roddy Piper, April 17th, 54. July 31st, that was the day the Jesuit Ignatian year ended. R.I.P. Bill Russell. Right after the Celtics were in the finals when the president's Joe Biden, Secret Service named Celtic. Remember how the day that Joe Biden announced that he was running for president was the same day that John Havlicek died, number 17, dying 17 days after his own birthday? Oh, man. These Jesuits and Catholics, they are a twisted kind of evil, but man, they are on point. Their rituals are just nonstop perfection. And Gerald Celente, good Catholic himself, gloating today about how he called it that RFK Jr. is going to be the next president of this country. If they do put RFK in there, what's funny is he'll turn 71 3 days before Inauguration Day. I mean, that's possible. That would be in the cards. But again, it would be, the only Catholic president before again, Biden number 46 was JFK number 35, who was killed at age 46. If it ended up being RFK, think about that. I don't think they're going to put RFK in there right now. I have my doubts about that. But he would turn 71 3 days before Inauguration Day. So, yeah, cognitive dissonance, It's just like my mom, she used to be the biggest Bernie Sanders supporter. Finally, she gave up on him when she saw that he was riding along with all the pandemic stuff. But I've shown her all along the way how he was a puppet on strings. She'd be like, oh, that's got to be a coincidence. Oh, yeah, Bobby Kennedy, that's got to be a coincidence. Now, RFK Jr., she's like, oh, no, not RFK Jr. He's the best. I've been telling her ever since he did that mandate thing, or anti-mandate thing on Georgetown's birthday. It's looking pretty obvious. And again, at this point, if you deny these kind of things, again, you're the exact kind of moron that they created in your 13 years of slave school. That's just, I don't know, that it's amazing to me how dumb of people they can create in all the years of school that we have to go to. But nobody can see the forest for the trees. It's so obvious what runs this nation. And for 10 years, I've been spilling the beans big time. And again, I mean, you got to be a special kind of stupid. My mom or anyone else, if you think this stuff's a coincidence. This guy's not here to save us. This guy's here to give you false hope, and that's why they'll only take you so far. It's also, now we know why he definitely wouldn't cover my work, even though it really does look like he used my book for the outline of his book. Again, my book came out a couple years before his, and he used a lot of the same parallels that I painted. His documentary pretty much is just like my book without the gematria in it. But again, now you see why he wouldn't cover that subject. It would expose him and his whole family. And by the way, for those of you guys who think this stuff's a coincidence, here, the most simple cipher in Sumerian gematria, which is multiplying the alphabetic order times 6. Look at this. JFK assassination. You see how it's 187 and 1122? JFK was killed in the 187th year of the nation's existence, supposedly, and on the date 1122. Again, Sumerian gematria is just multiplying the alphabetic order times 6. And Society of Jesus. We got to run it the other way, actually. It's in reverse. But same thing. 187, 1122. Difference is alphabetic order forwards, alphabetic order in reverse. They're Catholics, they're Jesuits, which is the Society of Jesus. And from 1963 up to now, you can see that they're just living out these perfect rituals day after day. That's why they're chosen. They're born and bred to be. They're here, to tell this ongoing story that we're living out. From whatever point this nation got hijacked, and it really does seem it was about the time when George Washington took office in D.C., the same year Georgetown opened. Here, again, just to make a point about that. The two ciphers we began with. Georgetown, 57, and George alone, 57. George Washington inaugurated at age 57 in the exact same year that Georgetown was established, 1789. And by the way, going back to that 54 thing, John Carroll established Georgetown at age 54. This has been going on all this time. Again, the 16th century, the Jesuits created this calendar created, named after the Pope, 52-week year, Pope 52. English standardized with the 26-letter alphabet. All the spellings, all the same vowels, all of this stuff done in the 16th century. And it's like they set up a system to operate by just like this, and they've been doing it ever since with the right chosen actors who are just perfect for all the rituals. And again, it goes with the whole ritual birthing thing too. Making sure you have your children born on just the right date. C-sections make that possible. Fudging the numbers also makes that possible. But yeah, again, just look at it. RFK dead on 6/6, and now his son's running for president at age 69. JFK number 35, dead at 46. Forwards and backwards. No coincidences. All ritualism, so. And again, the other reminder here for this video is it's revolution or bust, you guys. It's revolution or bust. Has it been on the wrong screen the whole time? Tell me it hasn't been on the wrong screen the whole time. Oh my goodness. I think it's been on the wrong screen the whole time. I hate when it does that. Okay, it's been on the wrong screen the whole time. Oh my God. Okay, here. If you were listening, you got the memo. But here, just to recap. Again, from the top. RFK Jr. announcing on Ignatius of Loyola Day, the day that Ignatius of Loyola became the first superior general of the Jesuits. The Kennedys are Jesuit educated as a family, including RFK Jr. The date that he is announcing is a date with 46 and 66 numerology. Catholic, 46, like JFK killed at 46, like Joe Biden, the nation's second Catholic president, number 46, elected 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. It's also a date with 66 numerology. Robert Kennedy and Suron equals 66. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Robert Kennedy's 69, like how old he is right now. And again, Sirhan also has the 78, like Kennedy. I can't believe I had it on the wrong screen the whole time. I get so annoyed when I do that. Kennedy, 78, 111. He filed the papers 78 days after his birthday, or 11 weeks and 1 day. Here, dead Kennedy drummer. Just to go back to this sick drum ritual. And who are these people being sacrificed for? You know, this is a sacrifice for RFK's upcoming presidential bid. Again, they kill him at 63, right? Couldn't be any more obvious. Just another slap in the face for the American people. Dead Kennedy drummer, dead at age 63. Oh, what year was JFK assassinated? Oh, 63. But again, 111 days after his birthday, when Kennedy is 111, and so is Dead Kennedy's, for the record. Dead Kennedy's is also 111. Okay. From the RFK Jr. death anniversary to his April 19th official bid for president, upcoming 317 days, the 66th prime. Again, going with Robert Kennedy and Sirhan equaling 66, like the date June 6th he was killed. And from the JFK anniversary of his death to April 19th, a span of 149 days, the 35th prime number. Catholic 35, in reverse 46. JFK number 35, dead at age 46. JFK also born on the 149th day of the year. Again, why he's chosen to be number 35. And he just made his announcement yesterday that he'll do his formal announcement on April 19th. He did that yesterday on 4/6 from St. Anselm College, which equals 54, like Ambassador Hotel, like Jesuit Order, like Dealey Plaza. RFK killed at the Ambassador Hotel. JFK killed at Dealey Plaza. And again, April 19th, Jesuit Day, day of tragedy in history, day Revolutionary War began. Okay. So again, RFK Jr. filed the paperwork on April 5th, 45454, corresponding with Ambassador Hotel and Dealey Plaza, as well as Jesuit Order. Again, he's born in 54. It's 54 years since his father got assassinated. 78 days after his birthday, or 11 weeks and 1 day, going with the Kennedy family name, as well as the word Jesuit. His children's health defense equals 111, like Kennedy, like dead Kennedys. There's a lot of creepy children's hospitals in this nation that pretend to be good. I think that's kind of like what the Kennedy family is. Pretends to be good. And again, JFK killed 144 days from meeting with the Pope. RFK supposedly dead at 1:44 a.m. And now, he files the paperwork 144 days after the current Superior General of the Jesuit Order's birthday, only to formally announce on the day, that's you got the first ever Superior General in the history of the Catholic Church. And again, it's not just, it's everywhere, this number. President Biden 144 and 72. Jesuit Order 144 and 72. JFK met with the Pope on 7/2, died a span of 144 days later. Again, Jesuit Georgetown with the Transition Integrity Project simulated on June 12th that Biden would win. Trump would refuse to step down. It would lead to deadly violence in America. And just doing it on June 12th at Georgetown. Notice how John Carroll, how his name is 126, like how that day can be written 12/6. Again, founded Georgetown at age 54. John Carroll's also 63, like the year of the JFK assassination. And the one other thing that I was trying to show is whoops, hit the wrong button. JFK assassination in the most simple cipher is 187. And it happened in the 187th year of the nation's existence. If you multiply the alphabetic order times 6, which is known as Sumerian Gematria, so A6, B's 12, JFK assassination becomes 1122, like the date it happened, 1122 in the 187th year of the nation's existence. And if you run the alphabetic order in reverse, and in reverse times 6, if you write out Society of Jesus, it's also 187, 1122. Again, that's who the Jesuits are. So Washington, D.C. is just like that as well. And again, the Jesuits have been in D.C. for longer than the feds. And that's where JFK's body was shipped back to. So and I was making the point. Watch the movie They Live, where Cable 54 is the enemy of the world, where Roddy Piper stars. And again, Roddy Piper, born in 54, died on Ignatius Loyola's death anniversary. So. Okay. Tempted to delete this video and redo it right from the top, but maybe some people needed to hear it twice. But yeah, you guys, I mean, it drives me nuts that people think the stuff I'm showing every single day is a coincidence. I mean, you got to be just a special kind of stupid, and sadly, most Americans are. People really need to pull their head out of their ass. And then they realize they're an adult, and they're ruled over by evil killers and liars and frauds, and then they need to do something about it, like I've been doing for the last decade. Oh, but I got a family to feed. I got to pay the bills. You know what? I had to take some major risks to put myself in a position to speak out and try and make a difference in this world. More people need to take that risk. I'll tell you that much right now. If everybody just keeps marching along and making a bunch of excuses for themselves, the tyrants will continue to rule over us and manipulate us and mock us. And again, you can think Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is the greatest guy in the world. He has done some good things, but he's in the club. And this is the club that's bringing nothing but sinister nastiness to the world. The same Jesuits are responsible for the pandemic. Again, he gets to play the good cop. He gets to play the counterpart to Anthony Fauci. But they're all in the same club. At the end of the day, they're probably all, eating dinner together and having a good old time and enjoying their wealth and fame and celebrity. Who's RFK Jr.'s wife anyway? Cheryl Hines. Is that right? Isn't that Larry David's ex? She's 57 years old right now. It's funny. She's 57 years old right now. Georgetown 57. Again, he's a Georgetown prep grad. Larry David. The Seinfeld show's had some recent deaths by the Jesuit coders that we talked about. Remember, the Jesuits are a Jewish-Catholic alliance. The Jesuit order equals 201, several 201 deaths in that show that we've talked about in recent times. He's even been flaunting that number on his newer show, Curb Your Enthusiasm. But, hold on. I heard that she's in a whole different... Yeah, look at this. Cheryl Hines condemns husband Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s anti-vaccine comments, which invoked Anne Frank. Oh, boy. Have you ever noticed how Anne Frank's name's spelled? It's got the word lies right in it. Analyze Marie Frank. Also born on June 12th. Yeah, Anne Frank's a whole nother topic that I could get into. But hold on. Should look up what the meaning of 113 is in the Talmud if you're new here. Notice Anne Frank, though, in the most simple cipher is 84, like Jesuit. Like the Jesuit order. Like the Catholic Church that funded the Nazis and turned a blind eye to them. Like how we brought over all the Nazi scientists after the war in this 84 nation where Anthony Fauci was doing his Nazi experiments and the head of NIH since 84. Hold on, I want to go back and take a look at this article. Curb Your Enthusiasm actress Cheryl Hines has condemned her husband Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s comments about Anne Frank, who was murdered by Nazis as a teenager, which he made during a rally against vaccine mandates. Kennedy, a longtime opponent of vaccines, invoked Nazi Germany in his... Well, it's fair. I mean, look at the kind of stuff that Anthony Fauci's been funding. In his screed against vaccine mandates on Sunday... By the way, for people who don't know, see how Adolf Hitler's 56 and 187, just like Society of Jesus, just like Washington, D.C. Remember, he supposedly committed suicide at age 56, and then coronavirus also 56, like COVID vaccine, like Anthony Fauci, like Gavin Newsom, like Cuomo, the 56th governor, like the pandemic declared 56 years after Trump's Jesuit education began. Like how he waited till Friday the 13th, associated with the Templars, and the Templar cross is in the middle of the Jesuit order's logo. But again, Trump waited till Friday the 13th, 3 plus 13 plus 20 plus 20, 56, to declare the COVID emergency for the U.S. Kennedy, a longtime opponent of vaccines, invoked Nazi Germany in his screed against vaccine mandates on Sunday at the Lincoln Memorial and suggested that Frank was better off than Americans whose jobs require them to get vaccinated. He later apologized for the reference. My husband's reference to Anne Frank at a mandate rally in D.C. was reprehensible and insensitive, Hines tweeted on Tuesday. The atrocities that millions endured during the Holocaust should never be compared to anyone or anything. I thought they were all survivors, though. Have you guys ever noticed the Gematria of Holocaust survivor? 201. State of Israel, 201. David Ben-Gurion dead 201 days after the anniversary of its establishment. Kennedy was one of several speakers at Sunday's anti-vaccine mandate rally who compared COVID-19 vaccine requirements in the U.S. to Nazi Germany. Even in Hitler Germany, you could cross the Alps into Switzerland. You could hide in an attic like Anne Frank did, Kennedy said in his speech. I visited in 1962 East Germany with my father and met people who had climbed the wall and escaped, so it was possible. Many died, true, but it was possible. Frank was one of some 6 million Jews who were murdered by Nazis during World War II. Frank, thought to be 15 when she died, hid in an attic in the Netherlands before she was caught and sent to a concentration camp. Again, she's so real they don't even know her age. In case you're new here, Event 201 was the coronavirus pandemic simulation put on by the German Jesuit Klaus Schwab. But just to show you something, I remember what else was going on the day of the Georgetown birthday anti-vaccine rally held by the good Jesuit RFK Jr. It's like some new thing that I cannot get my website to work. I've never seen it have trouble loading like this. It's always been snappy. I want you to see what they were doing at Gonzaga, the Jesuit school in Washington State, on the day of RFK Jr.'s rally. Well, hold on. My website does not want to cooperate right now. So I can get to it this way. Why is that not coming up? Oh, I didn't spell John Stockton all the way. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so John Stockton was getting into trouble. Again, John Stockton went to Gonzaga. There's 2 Jesuit universities actually in Washington State. The first Jesuit university in the country is in Georgetown in Washington, D.C. But then there's 2 in Washington State, which is interesting because there's only 27 Jesuit universities in the whole nation. But notice, it was Georgetown's 233rd birthday, right? And then they got this ritual going on. Gonzaga University's 233. So this was a top headline on the same day that Kennedy was having his rally. But look at this photo they put out of John Stockton. He's in trouble for not wearing his mask at the games. But look at the photo. It's just like, come on. They got to make sure the 5 and 6 are on each shoulder after the gazillion 56 rituals with the pandemic. And again, I was showing you the list earlier. Here's a short list of 56s. It goes beyond that, though. But yeah, again, just reminding about the Jesuit cast of characters and how they pull them out when they need to for the stories, the news, the propaganda, the mind control programming. Man, I better wear my mask. Even John Stockton can't get away without wearing his slave muzzle. Appreciate it, Frank the Truth Tank. Thank you. He says, always great work. Truly, I appreciate that, Frank. You don't have to do that either. Thank you. And Chris, with another $5, says, A.J. Burnett, number 34, nicknamed Batman, threw the first pitch at the Pirates game. They were saying Batman like they were going for the Mao record. Yeah, Batman all over the place right now. Again, if you guys missed our coverage of Trump's day in court and what a little Jesuit ritual that was, also Skull and Bones, which is highly affiliated, go back and check that out if you want to understand how big of a joke this nation is. But yeah, Bobby Kennedy, or RFK Jr. He's not who people think he is. The Kennedys aren't who people think they are. And I you know what? I got to say, if I can only place a bet one way or the next, I'd have to bet that neither of them died. Just playing the part. It's all political theater. 1:44 a.m., 144 days for me with the Pope. Again, there's a reason they got to put the same numbers on stuff all throughout history. If Robert Kennedy was for real, it's like I've been saying all these years, why does he ignore my work about his dead relatives? You think he'd speak up and say, hey, we got to get this out there. My family was murdered by the Jesuit order. No, he's never done that. Now look, now he's got the perfect. Now it's his time to get all the attention. You know, Junior's going to get the attention. He's running like his. And remember, his father was running for president when he supposedly died. And the whole 69 thing, you know, had his father won, he would have took office in 69, right? Now he's running at age 69. It's a good thing about this knowledge. If you got a brain, you can tell who's in the club and who isn't. And most people are in the club. That's why they won't share this information. The information that actually exposes what's going on in the world. So everyone's tuning into clowns like Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan had a rough time at age 54. His whole show, News Radio, was all about 54 as well. Joe Rogan's not going to tell you anything. He's going to tell you, I'm not sure if 9/11 was an inside job. It's like, oh, okay. 2 towers became 0, became 1. 201. Not an accident the first Jesuit Pope lives in Suite 201, or that Joe Biden's son died 201 days before the Pope's birthday, or that Event 201 was the COVID simulation put on by a Jesuit. The sad thing is we live in a world, though, where if Joe Rogan talked about this stuff, the whole world would know in a day. Well, not the whole world, but a lot more people would know, and a lot more people would take it seriously because it came from a celebrity. It's a thing, a celebrity-worshipping society. It's got to come from a celebrity. And that's why YouTube also has to destroy people who might actually, you know, build themselves to be a household name. They got to destroy people who put out a good message that could change the game. They got to keep them looking small and insignificant. So anyway. My mom will be calling me later tonight. You're wrong about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He's good. He's good. You're wrong. Like, okay. My mom, she never learns. But 5 years from now, though, she'll probably call me and be like, you were right. Yeah, 5 years late again, Mom. 5 years late again. All right. All right, we'll leave it there, you guys. Have a good rest of your evening. If you're in the other part of the world, have a good day. And until next time.